It's been a while since I did one of these, eh? I am just getting over the sickness I had for about a day and a half to 2 days. And kind of feel like crap about it because I just started this newer job. And so when I went to go and travel to my hometown, I don't know what it was. I don't think it had to do much to do with the drinking. Um, I think it had something to do with the food that I ate. So I had the continental breakfast, and I don't know, like it made me feel a little bit like crap. But then so anyway, I finish the breakfast. I get out on time. You know, leave the room in time. I think I left it around like 10. I don't quite remember. I know it was before 11, but anyway. So then I traveled. I went to downtown. I had a couple drinks, and then I had plans to visit my aunt. And then my buddy, who I'm living with, he was like, "Hey, so are you gonna be back in time to go to this place with us?" And like, I don't know personally, so I felt like crap. But then I went anyways. And at that time, I stopped having alcohol up until later on that night. So I went with about 4 hours without it. And the strange part about that is that I had two beers after this. When I got to the bar, I had two, and I remember I had two. The first one was fine, and then I was talking about I think I was talking about Digimon with somebody, and like other animes and shit like that. And I remember it vividly because I was just sitting down, chilling out, and then I had the second beer, and then all of a sudden, like I've had this happen to me before. Thankfully, nothing bad happened, aside from the fact that I couldn't remember much, you know. And I've had this happen to me before in this town, and it was almost like a feeling that someone like spiked my shit with something. So I remember limiting myself to two more, but then like the second one, for whatever reason, like it hit like a ton of bricks. Like it didn't hit like a beer. Like, there's no way, you know. Thankfully, like I said, nothing terrible came out of it. Uh, Pretty funny, I guess. But I mean, I had to get help to change out of my clothes because I was doing it to get in my pajamas and I was fucking struggling from what I was told. What the line at Starbucks? But yeah. So then I had to call out of work because something wasn't right, and yeah, my body was just like it was not having it at all. And so I did that Thursday, and if I remember correctly, I was like, "Yeah, guys, I'm sick. I'm gonna be out for a day or two." But I forgot to call them and be sure that I was gonna be out yesterday as well, and I feel pretty bad about it. But like at the same time, if I'm sick, I'm sick, and yeah, that was not fun. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it's kind of a scary predicament when you're sitting there, you're having something, and it don't feel like that. It felt like someone put in like 5 shots or something like that. It felt like it. It didn't taste like it, but to put it into perspective, that's all it was. And I tested it too. So the day that I call out, I ended up getting a 6 pack because I was like, "There's no fucking way that happened to me over beer." And I sip on it, throughout the day, and like, I'm fine, And aside from like not being 100% me, like other than that, like I was consuming it just fine. So I have no fucking clue uh, what happened to that beer, or maybe the 2 beers. I don't know if someone like I said, spiked it with something, but I've had that happen before. It was a couple years back, but uh, that incident prior to that one, um, I knew something was wrong, and after I had whatever beer it was, I think it was like number 3 at that time, and I knew something was wrong because I went to the bathroom. I remember this specifically. So I went to the bathroom and then I came back out. The beer was unprotected, but I didn't really think about it much of it. So I was just living the nightlife, right? Um, so yeah, as soon as I got like halfway through the beer, um, I knew something was up. And I remember I had to walk home, and I was like, "There's no way I'm staying out now. Uh, I feel too twisted." And I gotta get myself back into bed. Thankfully, I had the wherewithal to do all that. I had to make a phone call to somebody, and I forgot who it was, but they knew the way for me to get back from where I was. And what I did was have him direct me. And I remember talking to my roommates about it the next day because when I woke up from that night, I felt somewhat okay. And I went to them and I was just like, "Do you guys know anything about this shit that happening at this bar over here?" Because I went there last night and like I had 3 beers within the span of an hour, which is a bit much, but like something was off. Long story short, from what I was told, people, especially in their early 20s, because they think it's funny, they will spike drinks. I mean, it's shitty. It's really shitty when people do that because especially now with me, like I try not to go overboard, and that's kind of like the reason why I try to stay away from hard liquor and just stick with the IPAs because I don't want to overdo it, obviously, right? So when I'm just hanging out like that, like or whatever I'm on here, or at someone's stream, that's what I like to do. Like when I had the room, or the hotel room the other night, that's pretty much how it was. Like I woke up and felt fine. I was like, "Oh, right, so gonna get the breakfast in, and then I'm gonna probably have a beer before I leave." I didn't finish everything that I had, so I did buy like a small thing of whiskey, but like I wasn't really entirely too fond of it because of how it was getting to me. So I think I probably had like maybe 3 or 4 shots of that stuff, and then I was just like, "No, I'm done." So uh, thankfully, I got away from doing that shit. But I had fun up until the other night. I mean, I visited a couple bars and just had like a drink at per bar, the 2 bars I usually go to, and said hi to some old friends I haven't seen ever since I left Martinez. So like obviously I was obviously I had a decent buzz going on, but I mean I knew what I was doing, so I was staying out of trouble. And then when my friend wanted to pick me up, I decided to go to the park. Just kind of like laying in the grass. I've been doing that as of late. I don't know why. Not necessarily because I'm tired, but I feel like it's like I don't know what drunk Rob does half the time, or his logical reasoning, but um, I feel like it's just like kind of like my way of just saying, okay, so you're done for now, so you got to go do something else, and I don't mind just like hanging out at like a park or or whatever, and just laying in the grass. I don't know. It's a little bit of a weird thing for someone like me, but it's kind of relaxing. So I mean, but going back to my current job, I think, and this is bothering me. Like I think I forgot to call out yesterday, but they knew I was sick, so I don't know. I looked at my schedule. It wasn't like they didn't take me off of the schedule or anything like that. So I don't know. So I think they just kind of forgot that I was supposed to be there because like I got no phone calls that day. No one called me yesterday, so I'm assuming like, oh yeah, they kind of knew. Right now, my stomach's still kind of feeling it. Um, when I went out to eat that other night, I ended up getting some pretty spicy wings, and I don't know if that was a good idea or not. But try not to think about it too much, just because my friends were just like, "What happened?" I don't know. You know? You guys were with me, and the bar usually cuts people off more often than not. So it's like, if I have two, it's just something else must have happened. So, like, despite the fact that I was on like a mini binge for like a day and a half, it's I usually know my limitations when it comes to like being in public. So, that's just I don't know, it's just how I felt. But there is a shit ton of cars. More often than not, and this is just kind of like my thing. When people are sick, they're usually sick for more than a day. So I mean, despite the fact that it was wrong for me to not call just to, be sure, part of me is just like, yeah, but I mean, I think I said something about that, or it was implied. But I've seen people get away with a lot worse stuff than forgetting to call out. Like I was talking to my friend about it, and he was like, "Well, if you're sick, you're sick, man. I mean, like, what can you do?" First answer would be, stay away from alcohol. The thing that frustrates me is that with my age, I mean, like, I cannot go as much as I used to. You know what I mean? And and because of like I stopped drinking every week, like a fucking goddamn alcoholic. I feel like my body's just not used to it anymore. So when I stop for about a month and then just do it again, like I feel like I'm drinking as if nothing happened. But there's a big difference to like if you do it every day or every few days or so compared to like once a month, because your body doesn't have it anymore in its system. So I think it takes like about 4 days for it to leave or something like that. And yeah, I mean, the only benefit is that I don't really look fucked or hungover or anything like that. I'm tired, but I'm always tired, so living in a loft is not the business, man. Like, it sucks. And my friend is like, it's kind of like a love-hate relationship, man. The only reason why you're sleeping in a loft is because I want you to be able to be motivated to actually get your own place. That's great. But if people can shut up and let me sleep, that'd be great too. So, especially when I'm working full time again. I mean, like, my body needs sleep. It's it sounds lazy as hell, but it's one of my favorite pastimes. So I mean, if I don't get it, you know, if I don't get at least my 6 hours, then I'm kind of dicked. If I make it in time, I'll be able to go to the card shop first. I don't have any money to spend on that at the moment, but oh, bada 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 bada. Yeah, my friends knew that I was upset about the situation. One thing I don't like doing is losing control of myself. And it's not even just with alcohol either. It's like, especially when I play video games and stuff like that, and I let my temper get the better of me. It's a shitty feeling almost like immediately. Especially when you're like me and you play League of Legends, and you have to deal with all the fucking kids that play that game, and they'll speak mad shit to everybody who will listen. But then as soon as anything said back to them, they don't take it on the chin. They'll go ahead and report it. It's a very toxic community. I think I talked about this before too, on here, but on paper, That's how I feel about it. On paper, I think the game's great, but it's unfortunate that the people who play it are pieces of shit. So um, that's coming from me. Like I'm pretty high up there in the ranks, you know. So Gamer Boy Ken. I'm worried about this shift because on a technicality, what is it? I think it's like the first 90 days, a job can fire you for whatever reason. This is California standard. But then I think it's like after the 90 days, they have to find like a really good reason to get rid of you. It's an interesting concept, but like for me, it's just like I've never really been fired before, so I don't know. I think the last place that thinks they fired me was maybe Chili's, but no, no. So I quit pretty much. Basically, when you're working with a team that doesn't want to listen to you, even though you have the authority for them to listen to you, it becomes a toxic environment. You know, I've only been cooking for about 11, 12 years, so I mean, you would think that people listen, but it's never really the case. So right now, I'm still a little bit under the weather. I brought some medicine with me. I'm probably gonna take as soon as I get there, because I think I put it in my pocket. Yep, Dayquil. I wanted to take Nyquil really bad to stay home, but Papa has got to make his bread. So on a lighter note, I have this option with my job, right? Uh, there's this app called Daily Pay. I don't know if whoever ends up watching this or who has already watched it or joined the stream. I don't know if uh, what jobs happen and what jobs don't. But I do technically, I recommend the app, especially if you're going from a job to job. Then it's always nice to not wait the first 2 weeks or week or whatever, depending on the pay period. Uh, just so you can have like an extra like at least $50 in your pocket. At least it's for me, so that whenever you go out to eat, you can. At least that's my mentality about it. So, however, especially in California, going out to eat is expensive as fuck. Um, I make an okay wage, but like even then, a meal it's still like an hour rate of pay, cost roundabout. Especially one place in particular that I have no. It makes no sense as to why they're so expensive, but Chipotle has gone way up in price for what they serve. It is ridiculous. Good old Chipotle. I think it's like 15, no, 14 maybe. With extra meat, extra protein, because the initial amount that they put in those things, uh, my opinion, it's not. So you gotta get that extra scoop for like $3 more, and then next thing you know, you're buying a $15 burrito. It's the same thing at fucking Five Guys, but I mean, Five Guys has always been expensive, so Five Guys, Bukkake, and fries. I think that's it for me. I mean, I've been on it for like 25 minutes, so I gotta focus up. Gotta wake up. Stop sweating so much. All right, you guys take care.